In this video, I want to show you how to use a master slide to begin your course each day or your class each day. I'm Dr. Trina Harlow. I have been an instructor and professor in higher education now for almost 8 years. And prior to that, I was in K-12 art education in the state of Texas in both public and private school. Prior to the pandemic, I taught a remote course for 4 years in the summer. So making the transition to remote teaching so quickly in March of 2020 was not that challenging for me. What I did find challenging was hybrid instruction, because the needs of students that were sitting in the classroom with me were much different than the needs of students that were across the screen of my metal and plastic device. I found that my brain had to keep making the switch back and forth from the students in the room to the students on Zoom. And of course, there were all kinds of issues with Zooming with students in the hybrid setting. Probably the biggest challenge for me was students in rural areas kept losing their Wi-Fi connection. Actually, students in town did too, just depended on the Wi-Fi use, how many people were using it. There were a lot of issues. And those issues caused my brain to take pauses while I was teaching. Now, as a teacher, we take pauses a lot, but I found that I was taking a lot more pauses. And I was a very organized teacher. I always had a Google Doc ready for class with my notes, with videos I wanted to show students, etc. And I would click on them. And when I wanted to share my screen with students, I would share my screen, and I would freeze my screen when I didn't want to share it with students. But I found that I wanted something that looked more organized, because I didn't want to confuse my students because of this remote hybrid setting to feel so like they were switching back and forth as much as I was. And so I made a master slide that I used to begin every class. And it really gave me a central location, a housing for my hybrid course. And so I want to show that to you now and walk you through it. This will be a very short video, but I think hopefully it will help some of you that are struggling to figure out how to organize your courses. And so first I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm going to go up here, and we are going to go to Google Drive. And once I'm in Google Drive, and I'm going to show you these things too, just in case this helps some of you too. I'm going to go to Drive. And when I get to Drive, you see all of my files. I'm going to go to this course, Art 4350 Practicum. And you'll see right here up at the top, Slideshow Master. And I want to share a little trick with you. It's a simple trick, but sometimes we don't know all these little tricks. And so it's always nice to share some. If you number your files, they will allow you it will allow you to put the slide you want up at the very top. Or you can just put an AAA in front of the slide file you want at the top, or the file you want at the top. So I have a 1 here, so my master slideshow is always up at the top. And here it is. You'll see a couple other folders. I have a slide links folder here where I store some URLs and things that I might like to use in the future as I find them. And then here are miscellaneous slide masters. And so I usually keep a backup copy in here. I never delete slides once I make them, but my master slideshow is my active slideshow ready to go for class. So let's click on that. And this is my master slide. And as you can see, it's bright and colorful. I'm an art teacher. I like creative graphics in everything I do. And you don't have to do that, but that's what I do. And you'll see right here the name of the course in the middle, and you'll see Thursday number 1. Now that may seem like an odd day for class, but this particular course I teach meets on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It meets every Tuesday the whole semester, but it only meets the first 3 Thursdays. So I have a master slide in order of the date I teach. So here's week 1, Tuesday. Here's Thursday number 2. Here is week 2. Here is Thursday number 3. Then we begin week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6. And you'll see, all you see in my slideshow master is the the home base slide, as I like to call it. So let's come back to Thursday number 1. So let me just walk you quickly through how I organize my course, and then I'll show you also how to embed your links. So I begin my course with something I call debut, which is the beginning, and I end it with something called adios, which is the ending. And so if you click on debut, I have already embedded a Google Doc here with the debut activity. This is the first time we meet, and we've got 2 activities. We have 1 minute for each student in the course to quickly introduce themselves, talking as fast as they can for 1 solid minute. And then we have a movement activity. Of course, these are to just help students get to know each other. In the fall of 2020, I added a social emotional learning activity to the beginning of every course. It's short, it's silent, it helps students get centered and just let go of everything that was racing through their minds and body as they rush to class. And if you click on that, you can see my SEL activity is ready because this is the first day we meet. I've got 2 slides. The first one, I'm just going to tell them a little bit about social emotional learning using the CASEL principles for social emotional learning. But here's my activity slide, and you can see I've got the date here, and you can see the activity, and it's silent. It's just for 3-4 minutes, and students really engaged with this. Now, I want to show you something here. You see Thursday number 1. I also have Google folders where I have all of the debut activities. I have a folder for the SEL activities. I have a folder for the course slideshows, for the course assignment, and the adios activity. So all I have to do to insert those is go to that file, find it, and insert it, embed the URL for that Google Doc. And so let's back out of this, and we're going to go back to the home slide. And here are the course activities for the day. This is the main content for course. And so if you click on it, almost always I have a slideshow ready to go. I may have embedded URLs into it for videos I want to show. I also usually have my announcements in it. I have a slideshow to take a break because my classes are almost 3 hours long and I need to remind myself to take a break. And if we come here, we'll see, we'll just walk through the slideshow. I do have a slide for the other activities. If I want it, it's there. And then we begin our teaching. And I work through my slideshow. I teach from my slideshow. And this particular day's lesson was on professionalism and being a transformational teacher. I want to show you this. I've got something called extra slides at the end. I never delete my slides that I make. I revisit my slideshows each semester before I teach each course day. And maybe I want to change something up a little bit. I never delete the slides in the slideshow. I just make a section at the end, after the end, called extra slides. And I stick those slides there so that I always have them. And let's go back out of that. Let's go back to our home slide. And here's our course assignment for the day. On this particular day, we're going to make a digital journal that students will use for their field experiences. And then adios. And I have that Google Doc linked there. And it's usually just one slide with a quote, something that we can just discuss. And it's really just a signal to students that class is over. And I may ask questions that refer back. They may ask questions. I usually put a YouTube or 2 on the audio slide, and that's because I want to make sure I have plenty for class. I'm an overachiever. I always have too much material for class and can be guilty sometimes of trying to squeeze it all in. So that is how I organize my class. And all I have to do is go back to my home slide. And it only takes a little bit of time to get your documents plugged in. Let's come down and look at week 3. How about that? Here we go. And you can see I've got my slideshow here. This day I'm teaching about methods and strategies, and I've got my slideshow. And sometimes I do something like this where I put the syllabus on the slideshow as the first 3. It triggers me to remind students that what's coming up in the next few weeks. And usually I'll have an announcement slide here too. And sometimes there might not be something to click on the home slide, and that's fine. But one thing that's really nice about this is my course shell is organized for next semester too. And all I have to do is come in and just check the documents, make sure I want to do everything, look over my slideshows, update announcements, and it's ready to go. So I want to show you now how to quickly embed a URL link to a Google Doc or Google Slideshow. So let's come back up here to the first slide. And I don't want to mess these up because this is my real slideshow that I teach from. So I'm just going to click on Thursday number 1. So what you do to insert the link is you just click on the text you want to insert the link with. You come up here to the embed a file, and I am going to go to onlineartteachers.com, which is our website for online art teachers. You can also find us on Facebook. We've got 20,200 members all working together in remote and hybrid instruction in a group that was formed for pandemic teaching. So all I have to do now is copy and paste that URL right here. Now it's here, click apply. And you can't tell I've done anything, but watch this. Now when I click on it, it's there, and it will take me straight to the website. So that's a simple way to organize your class each week so that you, the teacher, are organized. You appear organized to your students. It's easier for them to follow the course sequence of activities, and it's fun too. And it just takes remote and hybrid instruction to, I think, a more organized level. So I just wanted to share this with you today.